Alright, sorry guys, my last video cut off there. Hopefully this one goes all the way. But anyways, I was gonna say, so I'm gonna level with you. This is gonna have to be a two-parter now. But when I was going through that phase, I just wanted people to accept me as a person. I know that I had gone through a rough background with people in general. I only had a few close friends, which was fine. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate the fact that I had close friends at all. But I wanted to be accepted on a broader scale, which I wasn't. Now, when I'm saying I'm going to level with you, what I mean by that is that here's what I can do and here's what I can't do. What I can do is say that if you're someone who's just genuinely looking to be treated like a human being because of a past experience, I totally understand where you're coming from. And I would agree, and I would say that I would be someone who would treat you that way. But what I can't do is indulge in that delusion. What I mean by that is that I can't come from a good place with my background and expect everyone else essentially to wear Cookie Monster hats and Cookie Monster shirts along with me and act like a child. That's kind of where I was at, and I mean I'm probably still there to some degree. Let's be real. But the reason, and here's the reason why. I don't want to just say something like that and then not explain to you the consequences or the reasons as to why. The reason why people like myself and other people out there can't and won't do that is because it comes back to this concept of groupthink, of safe spaces. When you are in this place where you're unwilling to change and you expect everyone else to change to conform to you, that's a really toxic place to be. Not only because it's not practical, a lot of people out there are not going to just jump in that circle with you because they're at a different place in life. They're don't take this the wrong way, they're more mature. They might have even been in places like I have where they've come out of that and they realize that it's bad to stay in that spot. And so it's not coming from a place of judgmentalism at all. Well, I guess it technically is, because I'm making a judgment based on my own experience and based on what science has proven. But it has nothing to do with people. The reason why people don't want to do it isn't because they don't want to accept you as a human being. It's not because people want to belittle you as a whole. I know that there's some people out there who have some genuine grievances with how people have treated them in the past. I'm not dismissing that. I'm just speaking in general. But they know that letting you continue to live in that state of mind is bad, not only for themselves but for you as well. You have to be able to come to a place, and sometimes that just honestly requires you to be left alone. I mean, that's what it took for me, with the exception of a few instances. I remember one specific person who I met, who was part of my church, who I will probably always remember because he was a great guy. He always invited me to do things, and I think that he helped me. He helped me enough to the point where he helped me realize that he was going to treat me like a human being, but he also wasn't going to entertain in my childishness, so to speak, in my Cookie Monster wearing behavior. And that, I think that made an impact on me because it gave me exactly what I wanted, so to speak. Like I said, I really think that the outward appearance was just a reflection of what was going on the inside and what I wanted. When I was dressing up as, wearing Cookie Monster shirts and hats and all kinds of things, I wasn't really asking people to accept the fact that I wore Cookie Monster shirt and hat. I just wanted to be able to be at a place where I knew and I felt like no matter what I did, that people were going to treat me like a human being. And I really think that that's at the heart of transgenderism, along with some of the other factors that I talked about. I really think that there are people out there who just really want to be treated like a human being. And look, if you are one of those people, I don't think that the vast majority of people out there aren't willing to do that. I want to ask you guys a question. Are you making this opinion based off your own experiences? Or are you just believing it because that's what the media is telling you? Because I know it's very easy to get tied into the media and what they're saying, but at the same time, like, the majority of what they're saying is false. It's not true. You know, you go outside your door, you go outside, you go to your next door neighbor's house, like, you know, whatever. Like, there are people out there who aren't the way that the media portrays them, because the media, what they do is they take a case, an instance, and then they just say that this is applicable to the entirety of America without actually doing the research and proving it. And so, let me see, how can I close this, I guess. I think I'm just about done. It really sucked that my video cut out, because this is only going to be like a 10 minute or less video because of that. All I guess in wrapping it up, all I can say is this. I can't speak for everyone, I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of conservatives out there, a lot of decent human beings out there are able and willing to accept the fact that you are a human being. They're going to treat you as such, and I would say don't abuse that. Because the moment that you start demanding that they entertain in your lifestyle, that's when things are going to go south. Okay? I wouldn't, for example, I mean, I might talk to you about it, and if you want to talk to someone else about the same thing, that's fine. But there's a difference between talking about it and shoving it in someone's face. If you want to talk about what you're going through and maybe trying to help someone understand and see your point, that's cool, because I would do the same thing. You know, I would say, hey man, like, I would do the same thing that I'm doing right now, which is basically like, hey man, this is what I think about what you're doing. You know, you should come over to my side. It's a lot better here. And then, of course, if you don't want to talk about it, I won't talk about it anymore, in the same sense that I'm asking that if you want to talk to me about something and then I get to the point where I say I don't want to talk about this anymore, that you don't continue shoving it in my face. You know, if you can find, there are a lot of people out there who are willing to have relationships with you and probably even want to talk to you about these things further. But really, if someone, for the majority in general, I would be willing to say that if people are pushing you away, it might be because of the fact that they feel like you are being very aggressive and very pushy in your beliefs towards them. It might come, you might not mean it that way even. I'm just saying that there are people out there who might take it that way. And this is, again, this comes back to decency in America. This is why you should be a human being. You should be an individual, take responsibility for your actions. For example, okay, like, if you watch my video on homosexuality, you'll know my stance on that, but then you'll also know that I have friends who are homosexual. Again, we disagree in one area of life, but we share common interests in other things, and we're able to be decent human beings around each other, and we don't feel like we have to talk about this and convince the other person's mind. We can exist together, despite the fact that I agree with what some of the decisions they make and they disagree with some of the decisions that I make. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay to disagree. The difference comes in how you deal with it. So when it comes to this issue, for me, for example, I have no problem if you're someone who's transgender. Okay, I don't care. Like, if you love music, for example, we'll probably, you know, we'll probably become friends or something, because that's how I became friends with the majority of the other people in my life that I've met. We've had a common interest in music. But if I were to push you away, if I were to not want to hang around you anymore, I can guarantee you that it would be because you would probably be trying to continue forcing something onto me that I have already said that I'm not interested in talking with you about. It would probably be along the lines as if you were essentially saying that I must accept you for who you are, or for who you claim to be, when I don't agree with that. Again, if we can at least just agree on a name, I'll call you by your name. I can at least do that. But if every time that I call you by your name, you're gonna demand that I refer to you by your proper pronoun, that's probably going to be one of the things that's going to cause me to not want to be around you anymore, especially if you continue persisting on with it. And again, it's not because I'm transphobic, it's not because I hate you as a human being. It just comes down to the fact that I don't agree with that portion of your life. I think that it's toxic to you based on my own experience. And if you're going to be, honestly, even just from a friendship standpoint, if you're going to be a friend who's going to demand my behavior, regardless of what it is, that's going to generally cause friends to not want to hang around you anymore. When you try and tell them how they have to behave, what they have to say, turns out you're just trying to control their life, and people don't appreciate in general when you try to control their life. You know, slavery, for example. I mean, I'm sure that was probably one of the biggest times in history where people didn't like them having their lives controlled, but it was, and that was a terrible thing. It's a smaller scale version of slavery to some degree, to tell people what they have to do and how they have to act and what they have to say. It's almost like a dictatorship, so to speak. And so that's just kind of what I wanted to end it on. I think that I hopefully made my point well enough. I hope that people out there watching this understood where I was coming from and what I was trying to say in all of this, and most importantly, that I wasn't trying to be judgmental by any means in a negative sense. While we're on that topic real quick, I want to point something out. People like to use this verse a lot, and I really think that it's important to get it in its proper context to understand what it's really trying to say. So people like to use the verse, but doesn't the Bible say don't judge? Well, yes and no. What the verse actually very specifically in context says is, judge not lest you be judged, meaning don't dish it out if you can't take it. Because then it proceeds to say, for by the standard that you judge others is how you are going to be judged. Now, obviously, you can interpret that to mean that God is making an analogy, saying that because you are a sinner, you don't have room to judge anyone. But with even more context, what God is really saying is that don't judge someone unless you are prepared to be judged by the same method that which you are judging that other person. So if that's the case, I think that I have, and then it goes on further to say, you know, why do you look at the log in or the speck in your brother's eye when you have a log in your own? First, remove the log from your own eye so that you may see clearly, and then you can better help the brother with the speck in his eye. See, in full context, what it's really saying is that if you have an issue going on about something, get your own crap together first. Figure it out yourself. Maybe not figure it out yourself. Get help. Solve your own problem first, and then you will be able to understand and see how to help others. And essentially they won't be able to judge you, so to speak, because you've already been in that position. And so that's where I'm coming from. I gave you my experience. I gave you also some scientific facts there about the concept of groupthink, about the concept of staying in your safe space. And so I'm judging based on the same standard that I now would want to be judged off of. And if you see me being hypocritical about it, I want you to call me out on it. And furthermore, because I have gotten through that part in life, I can see clearly now, I can see better now, to where I can hopefully help others who are going through a situation that I went through a long time ago. Now, no, obviously I was never someone who thought I should have been a female, although I did say that I did have I was more feminine in my attributes, but the concept of what I went through was the same, which was the sense that I felt rejected. I felt sometimes like I didn't know who I was. And now, because I have come out of that and I know who I am, and I've done all of that, I've gone through the same experience. Not the same circumstances, but the same experience. The experience of feeling rejected, the experience of not knowing who you are, not coming to full grips with who you are. And sometimes I think I still struggle with that. You know, I sometimes feel like I still don't know who I am. But now that I'm at least, maybe I'm not fully out of it, but I've at least gotten the portion of that log out of my eye. It's probably down to at least a plank at the well, not a plank, maybe like a 2x4 at the very latest. But I'm working on it, and I'm making this judgment call from a place of sincere concern, and I'm making this argument from a place of I've been there before. And I want to throw the message out there, because I don't want people to stay in or continue being in or go down that path. It's not a fun place to be. You're going to feel victimized. You're going to feel miserable, but it is self-inflicted. For the majority of the part, it is self-inflicted. When you are at a place in life where you can leave, and the entirety of that decision is yours, no one's forcing you to stay in this state of mind that you're in except you. That is self-oppression. That is how you stay in a constant state of depression, and how you just expect others to essentially suffer with you. You want people to come into your quote-unquote safe space, because it's actually a misery space, and you want people to suffer with you. You want people to indulge in your illusion because you want to feel comfort that what you're doing is at least okay, because you get approval in some sense. But the reality is that it's not. And even if someone approves of what you're doing, they're not helping you, and they're only making you feel a little bit more comfortable in the thing that you're doing that is wrong, or that's bad for you, I should say. So that's kind of all I got to say. I think I got to get to work. I'm here now. I got to get inside. But if you guys have any further questions, message me here offline. I'm always willing to talk with people. I hope that I have made the message and the point from a sincere standpoint, and a place hopefully of love. I never intend to judge anyone harshly or to condemn them, I guess would be the more accurate term. I'm just giving my opinion. You're free to disagree. You're free to agree. If you have any further questions, if you want to ask me something that maybe you don't want other people to see, I'm more than willing to have a conversation with anyone who wants to have a conversation, who maybe has some questions, maybe about God or whatever the case may be, that you don't feel have been answered. That's my stance on everything. I think that's gonna do it for this video. Next time in Pride Month, we're going to be talking about genders, specifically genders. I know that transgenderism is kind of more, it's more specific to male, female. Next time we're going to be talking about the genders, how many genders there are, how that whole thing plays out. So thank you guys for watching, and until next time, this is the Conservative Christian signing out. Thanks for watching, guys.